How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to an episode here on Let's Build Twitter. As always, I'm Ethan, or Unknown Coder, your favorite underqualified senior software engineer. And as always, if you guys do want access to the private repository, there's a link in the description down below that'll walk you through exactly how to gain access to that. Now, with that being said, let's go and hop into what we're working on today. Today, we're going to go ahead and try to finally finish up working on this create list modal here. That way we can start creating our own lists and getting them on the page behind us. The last thing that we need to go ahead and do is set up some hover cards for these cards here. So we're going to go ahead and work on that and try to get them installed and everything. This one may be a little bit of a longer episode, but bear with me here. I'm going to try to get it all done in this one. With that being said, let's go and hop into the code and get to work here. Starting out on the front end, we need to go ahead and create a new component. So let's go ahead and create a list hover card / list hover card.tsx. Also go ahead and make a list hover card.css, and here we might need to actually create a couple of lists. So creating the list might be completely done, and I just didn't actually test it last episode. We might need to go through and create a couple of lists. I don't remember exactly where this gets used at. So if we need to make some data, we'll go ahead and make some data. We'll get to that point when we get there. Go ahead and close out this. Let's go ahead and import React from React. And then let's also go ahead and import our / and list hover card.css. Then we also need a prop, so interface. And here we're going to have a list hover card props. Inside the props, we're going to go ahead and have a list, which is a custom feed. Let's go and bring that in. We're going to have a flip, which is a boolean, and that's going to be determined whether it's going to showing up or down basically. And then finally we're going to have a display, which is a boolean, because sometimes we're not going to display this list hover card. Looks good. Let's go into export const and list hover card, which is a react.fc. This is going to take in our list hover card props, and then let's go ahead and break apart those props by saying list flip and then display. Let's go ahead and do this. Looks good. So now we do have a bit of state and stuff. So let's just go ahead and let's just go ahead and do the state and logic and everything. We're going to try to do all of this in this episode anyway. So let's just go ahead and say const and logged in. We'll also go ahead and grab the token is equal to use selector. Go ahead and grab use selector and import it of our states and root states. Let's go ahead and import our root states. And here we're going to go ahead and have our states. State.user. Maybe. There we go. State.user. Also going to go ahead and have an app dispatch or a const dispatch, which is an app dispatch. Let's go ahead and import that as well. Is equal to use dispatch. Go ahead and import that also. And then we're also going to go ahead and have a const navigate. Going to be equal to a use navigate. Go ahead and bring that in. Looks good. And now we're going to have a few methods to work on. Actually, we have one more piece of state. I'm sorry. Const. And we're going to have a hover card and style and set hover card style. Going to be equal to use state. Bring use state in. And here, I guess I didn't set up what this was. It's an object, but we're going to skip the type on this one, I guess. We're going to set up a return function here. We're going to go ahead and return, and we're going to check to see if flip is true. Question mark. If flip is true, we're going to go ahead and return bottom is going to be 0, and it's going to be margin bottom of 24px. And then otherwise, we're going to go ahead and have top of 0, and then we're going to go ahead and have our margin on the top is going to go ahead and be 24px. So we're flipping which way this is going basically. So that is our primary state. Now we have a few pieces of logic to set up as well. So first, let's go and say const navigates to profile. And then here we're going to go set up an arrow function. Inside navigate to profile, we actually want to go ahead and include an e react.mouse event. Mouse event. And this is going to be on an HTML, like a type paragraph element. And then in here, we're going to go ahead and say e.stop propagation, so no weirdness happens. And then we're going to go ahead and navigate. Navigate. And this is going to go ahead and navigate to backtick / $ curly brace list.creator. and then .username. So I'll go ahead and navigate us to that profile. Next, we can go ahead and set a const logged in, and then following list. This is going to be an arrow function. This is going to see if we are following a specific list. So we're going to return and list.followers.sum, sum, like so. It's going to say user. We're going to go ahead and say user.user ID is equal to logged in .user IDs. So we're going to go ahead and check to see if this logged in user follows the list. Next we have const handle follow or unfollow is equal to, it's going to be an E, and react.mouse event. And this is going to go ahead and be on an HTML and button element. Go ahead and bring that in. Let's go ahead and set up our arrow function here. Once again, I'm going to e.stop propagation, so no weirdness happens. And then we're going to go ahead and have if we have our token and we are logged in. Then we're going to go ahead and set up some logic here. So if this is the case, we're going to go ahead and dispatch. We're going to go ahead and dispatch follow or unfollow list. Good thing we have that set up. I don't remember setting it up. And we're going to have the list ID as list.id. We're going to go ahead and have user as logged in. And finally, we'll go ahead and pass the token. Looks good for handle follow. Let's come outside this function. We're going to have a const handle members clicked equal to, and this is an E react.mouse event, and this is going to be on HTML div element like so. Let's go ahead and set up our arrow function. Give ourselves some space here. Inside here is going to E.stop propagation, and then inside we're going to console.log, and this is just going to go ahead and say to do, maybe like so, and this is going to say setup and members modal. So that's going to be something we need to set up eventually. And then const handle, followers clicked equal to E react.mouse event. And this is going to be on HTML div element as well. Go and bring that in. And here, once again, we're going to E.stop propagation again. And then console.log. And once again, it's going to say to do and set up followers modal. So this is going to be something we do in a later episode. So that is all of our logic. Let's go ahead and set up our return. And inside the return, let's go ahead and have a div, the class name equal to curly braces, backticks, list-hover-card, and then $ curly brace, display, question mark. So then if we have display, we'll display one class, otherwise we'll do another class. And then let's go ahead and set up this. So here it's going to be list hover -card -visible. I need to spell visible, right? There we go. Otherwise, it'll be list -hover -card -hidden. And then we come outside of our class name. We're going to have a style equal to hover card style, like so. And let's go ahead and open this up. That looks good. Now we can go and start working inside of our ListHoverCard here. Inside our ListHoverCard, let's go ahead and have a div with a class name equal to, and this is going to go ahead and be list and hover -card /banner. Banner. There we go. Style is going to equal to, and we're going to have a background image. And this is going to go ahead and be backticks URL, and then parentheses and $ curly braces. And then this is going to be list.image URL. Looks good. And that's all we need there. So let's go ahead and close out that div. Next, we're going to go ahead and have a div with a class name equal to list-hover-card -title. Inside the title, we're going to go and have curly braces, list.name. Then we'll have curly braces, list.private list. And if it's a private list, we're going to go ahead and have a lock SVGs. Go and bring that in. And inside the lock SVG, height is going to equal to 18. And our width is going to equal to 18. And then our color is going to equal to black, which you didn't really need to set that, but it is what it is. Make sure that comes in properly. We need to make sure we close out those curly braces. And what is going on with this? I'm not 100% sure. Oh, close the curly braces early. There we go. Looks good. Now let's come out of our list title. We're going to have a set of curly braces, and this is going to go and say list.description. And this is going to be not equal to an empty string. So if we have something, we're going to go and say, and we're going to have a paragraph with a class name equal to list hover card dash description. And then here, let's open this up. Inside of here, I'm going to do one of these. And then inside of the paragraph, we're going to go ahead and have a list.description. Looks good. Let's come out of here. We're going to have a div with a class name equal to list-hover card and then dash creator. Inside of creator, we're going to have a profile picture. Go ahead and import that. In our profile picture, user is going to be equal to list.creator. And then size is going to equal to 20. So go ahead and set that up. Then we're going to go ahead and have a p tag with a class name equal to list and hover card dash creator dash nickname. So inside of here, we're going to have an on click equal to navigate to profile like so. Open this up. Inside the paragraph, we're going to go ahead and have a list dot creator dot nickname like so. Then we're going to go ahead and come below with a p class name equal to list hover card. It's going to be creator dash and then username. This one's not going to have an on click, and let's make sure we spell on click properly here like so. So here, this is going to have the username. So then we're going to have inside here a list dot creator dot username. We also want to go ahead and add at here. So at this user. There we go. It looks good. And now we're going to come outside of our creator. Outside our creator, we're going to go and have another div with a class name equal to list hover card dash members and followers. Inside here, we're going to go and have a div. And then this is going to get a little bit crazy. ID is going to be equal to, and this is going to be list dash hover dash card dash members. Underneath the ID, we're going to have a class name equal to list dash hover dash card members and followers dash text. And then we're going to have an on click equal to, and this one's going to go ahead and handle members clicked. Okay, let's go and open up this div. And here we're going to have a span, the class name equal to list dash hover dash card dash members and then followers dash text dash bold. And then inside here, we're going to go and have curly braces, list dot members, dot length. And then we're going to go ahead and have members under that. Then let's go ahead and come below our ListHoverCard members. And let's go ahead and set up another div. So div class name. Actually, don't want class name. I want to come below here, set an ID equal to, and this will be list hover card, and then this one's going to be followers. Maybe followers. Have a class name equal to list hover card, and then this is going to be members dash and followers dash text. And then this also needs an on click, so I just scuffed this. Let's go ahead and fix this. Here we go. And then this is also going to have an on click as well. On click is going to go ahead and be handle, and this one's going to be followers clicked like so. Let's go ahead and clean this up a little bit as well because I scuffed it. There we go. And then inside here, once again, we're going to have a span with a class name equal to list dash hover dash card, like a type dash card dash members and then followers dash text dash bold. It's going to be so fun to style all this. Here we're going to go ahead and have list dot followers, followers dot length, and then below we're going to go ahead and say followers. So there we go. Now we need to come below a couple divs here. So we should go below 2 divs right here, I believe. And then we're going to go ahead and have a set of curly braces. This part I'm scared we're going to screw up, but hopefully we don't. List dot creator dot user ID is not equal to logged in question mark dot user ID. So we're going to check to see if the creator is the person that's logged in, and if they aren't, we're going to go ahead and have a div, the class name equal to, and this is going to be list dash hover dash card dash button container. And inside of here, going to do this. Inside here, we're going to have a set of curly braces, logged in, and then following list. It was supposed to be follows list, but it is what it is. Logged in following list question mark. So we're going to go ahead and check that. If this is the case, we're going to have a button, the class name. Let's go ahead and do this because it's going to be a little messy. Class name equal to, and this is going to be list hover card following and button. And then below here, we're going to have an on click equal to, and this is going to be handle follow or unfollow. And then we're going to have an on mouse enter. So whenever the mouse enters, we're going to have a, we're going to have an arrow function. And this thing is going to say set hovering. And I guess we never set up hovering following to true. We need to go ahead and set that up. On mouse leave, I guess I missed this, is equal to, and let's set up an arrow function again. And this is going to be set hovering following false. I don't remember that being up there. Maybe we just missed it. And then once again, we're going to go ahead hovering following question mark. If that's the case, we'll go ahead and say unfollow. Otherwise, we'll go ahead and say follow. So I'll set that up in a second. We're going to have a different button if it's the person's not following the list. So button class name equal to list hover dash and then card dash follow and then button. And here we're going to go and just say follow. So that's basically everything we need to set up, other than the fact that I guess I forgot to set up this hovering follow const and hovering and follow, and set hovering follow is equal to use state. I don't know how we missed this, but it is what it is. Boolean, and then we'll start out as false. And let's make sure this gets rid of that error. I spelled something wrong here. Hovering following. I don't know what I spelled wrong. Let's go ahead and try this. Copy it. Thought I spelled it right, but I guess not. Oh, it's following with ing. There we go. And hovering following. There we go. I believe that should be everything for the component structure. Now we need to go ahead and go through and style this and then add it in where we need to add it in at. And we also probably need to go ahead and create a couple of different lists to go ahead and test this out on. So let's go ahead and hop into the CSS, try to get this styled as quickly as we can here, get it installed and see if it's working or not. Starting out inside of our ListHoverCard.css is going to say list-hover-card. There's quite a bit of CSS in here. We're going to start with padding on the bottom, and it's going to be 8px. Whoops, 8px. And then we're going to have a width of 350px, which there's actually a 3 and not a 2. That'll scuff it up a little bit. We're going to have a height equal to fit-content. Then we're going to have a display of flex and a flex-direction. Whoops. In the column direction, we're going to go and have a row-gap of 8px, and then a position of absolute. We're going to go ahead and have a left of 50%, and then a transform, and this is going to be translate, and we're going to go ahead and say negative 50% and 0. We're going to have a box dash shadow, box shadow, and this is going to be RGBA. Here we're going to say 0, 0,0.2, and then outside we're going to say 0px. We're going to have 5px and 15px is kind of like our standard box shadow. Border is going to be 1px solid, and this is going to be pound, E1, E8, and ED, this sort of light gray color. Border dash radius is going to go ahead and be 8px. We're going to go and have a background dash color of white, and then we're going to go and have a z dash index of 10, and finally overflow will be hidden. Now I'm a little bit afraid we're going to screw up some of the CSS because there's quite a bit here, but fingers crossed it's not too bad. Next I have a list hover card dash visible. So if it's visible, we're going to have visibility set as visible. We're going to go ahead and have opacity set to 1. We're going to go and have a transition, and this is going to be opacity. We're going to go ahead and transition the opacity 3 seconds, and this is going to be ease in, ease out. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and have a list.list-hover-card, and this one's going to be hidden. So here we're going to go ahead and have visibility is going to be hidden instead of visible. So let's go ahead and put hidden here. And then we're going to have opacity set to 0. And then once again, we're going to have the same transition. So transition, and we're going to go ahead and transition the opacity 3 seconds, ease in and out. So we got a little bit crazy here, but it shouldn't be too bad. Let's go ahead and start setting up the other stuff. Next we have .list-hover card and then banner. Inside the banner, we're going to have a padding on the bottom, and this is going to be of 16px. We're going to have a width of 100% and then a height of 100px. We're going to go ahead and have a background dash repeat. This is going to go ahead and be no repeat, maybe. And then we're going to go ahead and have a background dash position. This one's going to go ahead and be center and center. And then we're going to go ahead and have a background dash size is going to be cover. And finally, we're going to have an overflow of hidden once again. Looks good. Next, we're going to go and have a list dash hover dash card dash title. Inside the title, I have a margin of 0. We're going to go and have a width of 100% and a display of flex. We're going to have justify content going to be in the center, align items in the center, and then we're going to go and have a small gap of 4px and a font dash size is going to be 20px. Oh my goodness. A color of black for the title, and then a font dash weight of 800. So looks good for the title. Let's go ahead and make some space here so we're not so high up. Now we're gonna have a dot list dash hover dash card dash description. Inside the description, we're gonna have a margin of 0, and then we're gonna have a width of 100% of the container. We're gonna text a line in the center. Center, maybe. There we go. Text align in the center. We're going to have a font dash size of 15px and a font dash weight of 400. And finally, the color will also be black for the description. Next, we're going to have our list dash hover dash card dash creator. Inside the creator, we're going to set width maybe to 100%. If I could type, we're going to have a display of flex. We're going to justify content in the center once again. We're going to align items in the center once again, and we're going to go ahead and have a small gap of about 2px just to give us a little bit of space there. So now we need the dot list dash hover dash card and then creator, and we need their nickname. Inside nickname, we're going to go ahead and have margin 0, padding of 0, and then we're going to go ahead and have a font dash size going to be 15px and a font dash weight of 600. After this, we need our list dash hover card creator, and then we're going to go ahead and set up their nickname hover. In nickname hover, we're going to have a cursor, a pointer, because we can click on their nickname, and then a text dash decoration is going to be underlined. Next, we're going to say list hover dash card and creator dash and then username. Go ahead and make some space again. Inside the username, margin gonna be 0, padding will be 0, and then we're gonna have a font dash size of 13px. We're gonna have a font dash weight weight of 400, it's a little bit smaller, and a color of pound 657786, so it's kind of like our darker gray color. Next, we're gonna have our dot list dash hover card members dash and dash followers section. So here, once again, our width is gonna be 100%. We're gonna go and have a display of flex and a justify content in the center and align items in the center. And then finally, we're gonna have a gap of 32px for this one. Then we're gonna go and have a pound, and this one's gonna say list hover card and then members. So members specifically colon hover. That's what we set up the IDs here. So once again, cursor is pointer, and then our text dash decoration is going to be underline, We need to go ahead and set these up as different IDs. That way they're not both being underlined at the same time. So now we also need list dash hover dash card dash and then followers colon hover, which is going to be the same thing. It's going to still be a cursor, a pointer, and then a text dash decoration of underline. Let's make sure we spell decoration right. Decoration. There we go. And now we're going to go ahead and say underline. There we go. Then we need to go ahead and set up our text and whatnot. And we're getting closer to having this done. So good for there. List hover, card, members, and followers dash text. It would be so nice if we would have used SCSS. I should have known about it before. Display flex. Started this so early in my career that I wasn't up to date with all the technologies, unfortunately. But display flex, we'll go ahead and justify content in the center. We'll align items in the center, and then we'll go ahead and have a gap about 4 px. Here we're going to have a font dash size of 15 px and a font dash weight of 400, and finally a color is going to be £657786. Then we need to go ahead and say list dash hover dash card dash members and dash followers dash text. I don't know if we have a hover on this. We don't. So we'll go ahead and just do bold next. So our ListCard hover, our ListCard members and followers text bold. Color is going to be black. We're going to have a font dash weight here. Weight of 600. And let's make sure this font weight is 400 and not 200. And we don't scuff everything. There we go. Next, we're going to have our list dash hover dash card dash button container. And here we're going to have a padding on the bottom. And this is going to go ahead and be 8 px. We're going to go ahead and have a width of 100%. And then we're also going to have a display of flex and a justify content in the center and an align items in the center. Looks good. Now we're going to have our dot list dash hover card dash follow button. And then here our height is going to be 32 px. We're going to have a padding, and that's going to be 0 and 16 px. We're going to have a background dash color of black. And we're going to have a regular color of white, and then a font maybe dash size 15 px. And a font dash weight, and this is going to be of 600, and then a border of none and an outline of none, and then finally we'll have a border dash radius of 16 px to make it kind of like pill shaped. Next, we need to go ahead and say dot list dash hover dash card follow dash button colon hover. Inside the hover, we're going to go ahead and say cursor is pointer, and then background dash color is going to go ahead and be RGBA 0, 0, 0. We're going to go ahead and say 0.9. So it's going to be the lighter color black basically. Then we're going to have our dot list dash hover dash card dash following dash button. So we already follow them. So once again, height will be 32 px. We're going to go ahead and have a padding of 0 px and then 0 and 16 px. We really should just share this, but it is what it is. Background, and this is going to be transparent like so. We're going to have a border of 1 px solid and black. I guess it is a little bit different here. We're going to go ahead and have a border dash radius once again of 16 px, and then we're going to go ahead and have a color of black for the text and a font dash size of 15 px and a font dash weight of 600. We definitely could have shared some stuff there, but it is what it is. And finally, our list dash hover dash card dash following button hover. Inside the hover, we have a color of red. We're going to go and have a border of 1 px solid red, and then we're going to have a background dash color RGBA 0, and this is going to be 256. I'm sorry, 0, 0, and then 0.1, I believe that's how it's supposed to look, and then the cursor pointer. So that is the last of our CSS. Hopefully I didn't miss anything, and hopefully I don't want to jinx ourselves, but fingers crossed everything works out, because we're getting to the point where we're like 36-ish minutes into recording, maybe 35, and we're getting close to me being able to, or needing to kind of wrap up. So fingers crossed everything kind of goes smoothly. The last thing we need to go ahead and do is hop into the ListHoverCard, or hop into the ListCard, I'm sorry, and set all this up. So let's go ahead and hop into the ListCard and get this installed. Hopefully there's no CSS issues. Hopefully I didn't scuff anything. And I never actually tested with y'all making the list. I didn't think that last episode was the episode that we'd actually go ahead and create it, that this list card was going into the create list. We also need to go ahead and test that out. So there's a lot of moving parts here. Hopefully everything works out. But with that being said, let's go and hop into the list card and get this installed. Inside of our list card, we're going to go ahead and set up a couple pieces of state. So I'm just going to come below all of our other state here. So here we're going to say const, and we need to actually set a couple things up above. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's come up to our state. We're going to go ahead and I guess we'll come below the dispatch. I'm going to say, let timeout. And this is going to go ahead and be a node.js dot and then timeout. So this is kind of yucky. Or it's going to go ahead and be undefined. And then we're going to go ahead and say const and hovering name and set hovering name is equal to use state. And this is going to go ahead and be a boolean, and then we're going to go ahead and say false. So this is how I should have done the hovering cards for the post, because this one works out quite a bit better than the way I'm doing post. So we might go through and refactor, we might never, I don't know. I'm going to say const handle hover name is equal to, set up an arrow function here. So if we have hover enabled, then we're going to go ahead and say clear timeout, and then we're going to go ahead and pass that timeout in, and then we're going to go ahead and call a set hovering name to true. All right, and then we're also going to say const handle and unhover name, and I think I actually say unhover name like so. Go ahead and do this. Here we're going to say timeout is equal to set timeout, right? And then we're going to set up an arrow function here, and then here we're going to set hovering name equal to false. So we're going to basically slowly unhover basically after 500 milliseconds. And the thing is we have it set to a 300, and let's make sure we do this. We have it set to 3 seconds basically fade out in the CSS. So even though it's going to be after like half a second of us undragging or unhovering it, it's going to slowly fade out. So it's going to go away quickly, and it should slowly fade in as well, or somewhat slowly. So now we need to come down. It says to line 88. I don't know exactly. I'm assuming it is going to be here in the list card name. I'm going to go ahead and double check the GitHub though, just to make sure we put this in the right place. So yes, it seems like it's going to be on our list card name text. Let me just double check that. Yep. Okay. So here on our list card name text, we're going to go ahead and add an on mouse and over. Let's actually make sure we put it in the inside of here. There we go. And say on mouse over is going to equal to, and this is going to be handle hover name, and then on mouse leave is going to equal to, and this is going to be handle hover, and this one's actually going to be handle unhover name. Then above our list.name, we're going to go ahead and have a hovering name, and then we're going to have our list hover card. List is going to equal to, and this is going to be the list. Flip is going to equal to our show pin, and then our display is going to equal to hovering name, like so. And then the worst that could go wrong is nothing works. I don't have time to debug, and the end of this episode is a total disaster. Best case scenario, everything works out. So first, let's go ahead and I scuff something here because obviously this isn't getting used. So let's go ahead and copy this and make sure whenever mouse leave gets used, this actually is working. So let's go ahead and paste this in. There we go. That's better. Okay, so this is going to be a long episode. I apologize, y'all. Let's go ahead and hop into the front end, see what I broke, see what I can fix really quick, and then wrap up the episode. So we are still rendering. So that is a good sign. So obviously we don't have any list. If we go ahead and try to create a list, I'm going to open this up, blur the screen for a second so nothing bad pops up, or that way I don't leak anything, I should say. Okay, it's fine. Let's go and open up this, apply, go ahead and just say test list. And we'll say this is a test list. We don't care if it's private. We can go ahead and have just like Morty or something, and then Beth. Sure. Done. Okay, that doesn't look good. Did it fail? I don't see anything. If we reload, it's not showing up. Terrific. Let's see if it failed or something. Go ahead and come in here, recreate it. This is not what I wanted to see this morning. Test list. This is another test list. We'll go ahead and put test list 2. Next, go ahead and put like Jerry and Rick in it, I guess. And they're in there. Click done. So list is getting a 500 for some reason. Unable to save supplied photo. Okay, so we're having a photo issue. I don't want to go through and debug a photo issue, so let's just skip over the photo for now. Test list without photo. I'll debug the photo issue later. This is a test list without a photo. I'll figure out what's going on with it and then update you guys in the next episode. So let's go ahead and just add a couple people. Click done. There we go. That looks better. I don't think pin is supposed to show, so that's fine. And if we hover over this, you can see we have this. This looks good. All of these look good. We don't have any followers, obviously. So this is what it's supposed to look like. I will debug and figure out why the heck the photos aren't working and update you guys in the next episode. I'm assuming that, I don't know, actually at this point I'll need to go through and kind of debug, and I don't have time to debug, unfortunately. But if we also go ahead and hop into Postman, we can go ahead and create a couple of posts or list and see them up here and see what they look like. So let's go ahead and log in as Summer. So let's go ahead and go to our authentication, go ahead and log in. Let's see, we are not. So SS, I think it's like this, summertime, and it should just be password. There we go. Cool. We're logged in as Summer. We can go ahead and grab our token here. Go ahead and copy this. Now we'll go into our list and try not to break everything. We'll go ahead and create a list. So here, user ID, Summer is 3, I believe. Yep. So let's go ahead and put Summer in here for 3. And then we'll go ahead and just say a test list 1. And then this one is a list to test from Summer. Private list is false. Image, I need to figure out what's going on with that. And then we'll go ahead and put in our bearer token here. Go and paste that in. And let's go back into our body. Let's just create a couple of test lists here. Test list 1, test list 2, another list 2 test from Summer. Go ahead and do 3. I think we need at least 3 or 4 of these. So let's just go and make like 5 to be safe. And 5, they don't have any members in them. It is what it is. Let's go ahead and refresh. Hopefully these are showing up. Looks good. You can see test list 3, they have random things. Looks good. We need to go ahead and set this up. We haven't set that up yet. We'll deal with that in a little bit. We go ahead and click on this guy. It gets added. Looks good. We can go ahead and hover over it and we can pin them. And everything looks good. So the only thing that's kind of broken right now, and I should have tested last episode or before, is the adding images. It also seems like this guy's broken again. I'm not sure what's going on with that. The CSS keeps getting wonky, but I'm gonna go ahead and debug that issue with this guy and also with the images not working. I don't know if I have a configuration issue. Sometimes that's just the case, or maybe I'm sending the image in wrong or something, but I'm need to basically do a deep dive and I can report back in the next episode. So hope you all enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Everything helps out here with the YouTube algorithm. If you do want to see where we started from absolute scratch to get to the point on out, there's going to be a playlist in the end card coming right up. So that being said, y'all, hope you did enjoy. Like I said, sorry this was a longer one. This has been Ethan, or Unknown Coder. I'll see you all in the next video.